Oklahoma quarterback John Mateer. Let's talk about three main keys for John Mateer facing this Tennessee defense this upcoming weekend. And as always, we're just a big SEC quarterback hub. We talk all things SEC quarterbacks. Got my guys Braxton and Christian here from In Season College Football. A great website. I have the link in the link in the description below. Go ahead and check them out. They do a great job putting out demonstrations and statistics and analytics for college football. And obviously, we talk all things quarterbacks. We'll be using that in our breakdown here. But we're going to get into it. Braxton, Christian, I promise I'm going to let y'all talk. But I got three main keys for John Mateer heading into this game against Tennessee. So we're going to talk about these three keys that I think need to happen for OU and Mateer to have success. Then I want to talk about Tennessee's defense as well. Maybe we can all put on our Tennessee defensive coordinator headset, essentially, and talk about how we would stop John Mateer here. So I got three keys. I'm going to hand the first key real quick, then I'm going to hand it over to one of y'all. But I think key number one is going to be similar to South Carolina. Like, they haven't really had to travel that much. You know, they had South Carolina. It was their toughest road game thus far. They got Tennessee coming up. So I think the first key is for John Mateer to weather the storm, if any storm. If things go wrong, if things start to go south, if you have a few 3-and-outs or have a mistake, weather that storm. Don't let that snowball effect happen. I think that's key number one anytime you're going to play any SEC opponent away at night here. So, Braxton, maybe dive into some of the numbers that Mateer has done so far today, then we can kind of take a deeper look on how he matches up against Tennessee's defense here.
Yeah, no. So obviously he's coming off. I don't know what it is, maybe 25 days since hand surgery at this point. But so far the season, 150 completions out of 236 attempts, basically completing 64% of his passes. He's at 1,800 yards, 8 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He also has about 225 yards on the ground and 5 TDs. Kind of like we talked about the other day with Tennessee and Kentucky, I fully expect him to put up some big numbers, just like Cutter Boley did, to maybe take a step in the right direction after, and maybe kind of we can see some of that magic that we saw at Washington State last year that he had and he showcased. Fully expect to see him put up some big numbers and kind of have a get right game offensively. I don't know if that means that they win the game or anything like that, but I fully expect him to have a good game. But you're right; it's going to come down to whether or not he can handle the hostile environment in Knoxville at night, whether he can weather that storm and make it through while trying to a couple 3-and-outs or a pick here or there or something like that, trying to get through that.
Yeah, I think that leads to another key, and that's having sustained drives. Like, he does a really good job playing some hero ball. Like, when things break down, you have to escape and you have to kind of take things into your own hands. He does a really good job. But if Tennessee makes you play within that offense, again, a big if, but if they do, I think you have to have – can he have some sustained drives, not have these 3-and-outs, keep the offense on the field here? And I'm sure, Christian, you got some stats we can pull up here and dive into. Is it good to go ahead and pull up here?
Yeah, let's pull them.
Perfect. I'll pull it up. And again, this is the end season website. It has great details. You can check them out. Check out in the link below. And you can ask us for any more questions. Christian, go ahead and break this down for us, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the areas that Mateer's really excelled at this year is kind of that 10 to 20 yard pass, kind of more in the medium quadrant of the field. So looking at that. So if Tennessee's able to take that away, it really pulls everything back to his second strength, which is those screen passes behind the line of scrimmage passes. So it'll be interesting to see how Tennessee actually creates their defensive schemes, whether they play more of a zone type defense to try to take that away from Mateer. Mateer struggled more so on the deep passes. We're looking here at just QBR rating on where he's been able to play. So I think one of the strengths for Mateer is, can he still utilize that 10 to 20 yard pass range to get the ball down the field? And if not, is he able to capitalize more on his wide receivers and his O-line to give him a little bit more time in the pocket to make that second and third look pass?
Yeah, and before we get, are we able to show some how the defense does against certain passes? Do we have that at some point? I'll let you look it up. If not, no big deal. But I think what you said goes hand in hand with that kind of intermediate game, and then like Mateer's been really good against the blitz. So I think this brings up my last key, where I think he's maybe the most important key, Can Mateer improve if Tennessee drops 7 or 8? I know we're about to talk about Tennessee's defense, but can he improve and play better when the defense does not blitz? Against the blitz, Mateer has is averaging 9 yards per attempt. He's pushed the ball downfield a bit more, and his adjusted completion percentage is about 75% when they blitz, right? So it's kind of common. Some quarterbacks do better when they blitz because there's less defenders defending the pass game. Other quarterbacks don't want that pressure. Mateer happens to be a quarterback that does better when they blitz. So when they drop 7 or 8, his yards per attempt go from 9 to 6.6. He has 3 touchdowns, and 4 of his 6 interceptions have come when the defense drops 7 or 8. He's not as accurate as well either. So I'm going to pull up the page here that Christian has. He can kind of give us a little bit more detail, maybe about what we're seeing from the matchup from OU against Tennessee's defense.
Yeah, so we're looking more specifically at the bottom, looking at the grades. So, I mean, Tennessee has a pretty average coverage defense, pretty average pass rush defense. So it should allow Mateer a little bit more time in the pocket. But what I do see here is Tennessee has a pretty poor overall rush defense. Teams have been able to expose the ground game more so than kind of limiting the quarterback. So I could see that kind of playing well with Mateer's strength of being able to utilize either, the screen style passes that allows more of the action to happen behind the line of scrimmage. But that's just kind of what we're looking at from a high level and seeing where Mateer is able to kind of capitalize on Tennessee's weaknesses.
Yeah, I think, and Braxton, you mentioned this could be a bounce back game, kind of get right game for Mateer against Tennessee's defense. Because like what Christian just said, I know he talked about the rush defense not being very good, and same with the pass defense, right? Like they're just in general not a very good defense overall, especially when they're playing better competition. So like Tennessee's defense, last in the SEC in pass yards per game, giving up like a 266 yards per game, right? So if you're an OU fan, if you're a Mateer fan, you're like, great, we need that. We want that, right? They're the only SEC team, Tennessee's defense, to have given up more than 2,000 yards passing so far this season. But with that said, they tend to get a decent amount of sacks. I think they're 4th in the SEC in sacks. So if you're the defense, what do you do against Mateer? I'll put my DC headset on, and then y'all go ahead and chime in as well. But if I am John Mateer, or if I'm Tennessee's defense, my headset I'm putting on, I'm dropping 7 or 8 the majority of the time. I'm trying to make John Mateer have the mistake, and I'm trying to get pressure on Mateer and force him to play within the offense that OU has, right? And if I'm John Mateer, I'm like, great, I'm a quarterback, I've been developing, I'll play within the offense if you want me to do that. But if you're Tennessee's defense, I think that's your best bet on stopping an OU offense that is maybe kind of up and down. That's fair to say, yeah. And against, I think I have it pulled up. Against Kentucky, they blitz 35% of the time. Against Bama, 47%. Arkansas, 33%. Mississippi State, 27%. Nothing's really worked for Tennessee's defense per se, but I still think your best, I think, recipe for success, if I'm trying to stop Mateer, is make him play within the offense, drop 7 or 8 back, and have him make a mistake.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. And kind of going back to your point on just sustained drives. One of the interesting facts, and it kind of makes sense in terms of just the amount of yards and points that Tennessee has given up defensively. But I think they're around 80% of the time a team gets in the red zone, they're scoring a touchdown. One of the 135 out of 136 or something like that in terms of FBS schools. So it's kind of getting those sustained drives to where you can get in the red zone, and 80% of the time you're getting in the end zone. So it'll be interesting to see if they're able to kind of sustain those drives, even if the DC puts on that headset and goes, you know what, we're just going to make him. We're going to drop 8, make him kind of find a spot in a hole in the zone. Yep.
But yeah, and if I'm the DC, if he does it one drive, great, do it again, because I'm confident my offense is going to score too. But if I'm a tier, and OU fans, I want to hear from you. Like, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think the keys are for success from Mateer? Again, mine is weather their storm, have sustained drives that Braxton has talked about, and then can Mateer improve? The third key, can he improve when the defense drops 7 or 8? Can he go through the progressions? Can he not tuck too quickly to take off and scramble? Can he not force a throw like he did several times against Texas there? Can you have success if Tennessee drops 7 or 8? And I think they're probably going to drop 7 or 8 here. So as always, if you're an SEC fan, Oklahoma fan, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Like the video, share, subscribe. Check out end season college football. Check out the link below. It has some really cool data and some stats here. Guys, before we wrap this up, any other last thoughts as it relates to the quarterback position. Again, we're quarterback junkies. The only position that matters is quarterbacks, kind of. So let us, anything else before we wrap this up, guys, we want to hit on Tennessee's defense, Oklahoma's offense, anything in general we want to hit on before we wrap this up?
No, I mean, for me, I'm very excited. I think this is going to be just elite defense in terms of Oklahoma, elite offense in terms of Tennessee, kind of what you said, up and down offense for OU, and not that great of a defense so far for Tennessee.
Yep.
I have no idea. If I had to pick this game, I don't know how this would go. So yeah. I'm excited to watch.
Well, maybe we'll start picking games and people can pick the opposite we pick and they can win some money or something. As always, thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe. That YouTube stuff really does help. Again, we're just a big SEC quarterback hub. Thanks for following. See you next time. Peace.